second half of the NFL season is here, and those young QBs are putting on a show. But who's the best team? This is when we separate the pretenders from the contenders. And you can follow that story every Sunday with the NFL on CBS.
Big rematch this week between the Saints traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. I think the Bucs are going to win. The spread's 4 for the Buccaneers. I really think that they've solidified a role for Gronk. His influence on the offense has finally shown itself, and they've kind of realized you just turn on the film from New England, and he's good at running a specific route set. That's corners, that's seams, that's deep over routes, some occasional play action stuff over the middle, and I think they finally implemented him in that role, and that's why he's been so successful. His targets are up, his completions are up, and that's really the reason. And so with the addition of Antonio Brown, he's back for them. That's going to be a sight within itself. So I'm excited to watch these guys, and I think this rematch is going to tell us a lot about who wins the division. This weekend, I'm taking the Bucs, and I'm taking Brady. Another big matchup in Buffalo. The Seahawks travel to play the Bills this weekend. My money's on Seattle. They're plus 2.5. Russell Wilson's still playing out of his head. DK Metcalf is hands down the best receiver in football. And I really think that Arizona loss for them, it didn't derail them. If anything, it just reset their focus, reinvigorated their passion for the game, and they just look focused and ready to play this past week as they beat the Niners, a division rival. I think they're firing on all cylinders. Sometimes it takes that one hiccup to kind of reset and get them to realize what's at stake. And I think that's exactly what Pete Carroll has done for this team and reframed their mindset a little bit, reminded them they're not invincible, but that means they got to show up every weekend. So I think this weekend's no different. My money's on Seattle. Our next matchup, it's the Dolphins traveling to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray playing right outside of that top 10, top 12 level as a quarterback. He's just like right on the cusp, I think, of taking that next step. He's got plenty of help, although Edmonds is going to have to pick up the slack for Kenyon Drake after that injury. But you got Tua Tagovailoa, who had a rough start, no doubt. His first play, sack fumble. Welcome to the NFL. That's Aaron Donald. That's every week. You're going to play against a good pass rusher and a good defense. So he's got his work cut out for him. But I think plus 6 for the Cardinals, that's a little steep for me. I want to take the Dolphins and the points. I also think the way that defense rallied around Tua last week was something to watch. It clearly shows and it speaks to the fact that Tua's gained respect in that locker room. And if we've seen anything from Tua, it's that he knows how to rise to the occasion and knows how to play well in big situations in a game that really does mean something for them because this division is now wide open. The Bills have shown that they're a little vulnerable. The Pats, who knows what's going to happen? The Jets are the worst team in football. So the Dolphins have a shot to make the playoffs here, and they're going to need a real big push this week, and I think it starts with a huge win at Arizona. Our next matchup, Raiders at the Chargers. Gosh, this one's a coin flip either way. Let's talk the Raiders for a second. Derek Carr having quietly a solid year for him, something he needed to do because he was under a lot of pressure with that signing that big contract a couple seasons back and then being injured and not really living up to all that hype. But then you look at the Raiders, they seem to win games against great teams and lose some tough games. Like they beat the Chiefs, but they lose to the Patriots. I mean, they're kind of all over the board. So I don't know exactly what kind of team this Raiders team is other than inconsistent. But when you look at the Chargers and what they found in Justin Herbert, man, is he lighting the world on fire, playing out of his mind right now. In his first 6 games, he's managed to put together a resume unlike anyone else. He's the only one in history to throw for 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. That is absolutely impressive. We sat down with him on 4th and Forever, and what really stood out past his physical stature and appearance, obviously he looks the part, he runs the part, he's clearly athletic enough, but what really stood out is his mental capacity and how well he spoke the language of football, understanding coverages and reads and protections. He was really impressive. So it was clear he had the bandwidth to absorb and understand an NFL type offense that he's never really played in, being in Oregon before, and nobody's really challenged him that way. I think they're getting the very best version of him because they are challenging him, and he has the capacity to learn it and then go out on the field and execute, which we've clearly seen. My only problem is they just, as a team, find ways to lose games. So I'll put my money on the Raiders this week, even though they've been kind of back and forth. Not my most confident pick, but I'll take John Gruden and the Fighting Chuckies, the Raiders, at the Chargers this week.